On paper, this is the dream. I'm bikepacking south through Central America, headed for the edge of the continent. Guatemala is spectacular, and yet the reality right now feels very different. I'm really struggling with motivation. I'm feeling uninspired, and after more than a decade of travel, I'm starting to question why I'm even out here. It's a difficult headspace to be in, especially here, because whilst Guatemala is incredible, it's not a good place to be feeling off your game. 5 Guatemalan soldiers with shotguns just tried to shake me down. So, let's talk about what happens after hitting the wall. Hello from Guatemala. I have been back on the road for a little over a month now. I set off from Oaxaca on the 1st of December, which was the exact to the day 10-year anniversary of the day when I first set out on my first ever touring bike in Australia to cycle around the world. So it's pretty insane that I'm still going a full decade later. And I'm now going to be spending the next probably 4 to 6 weeks cycling through Guatemala on my way down to Panama over the next few months. And the plan is from Panama to get a kayak and kayak around the coast of the Darien Gap into Colombia, and then spend the rest of the year or so making my way back down to Patagonia to complete my final continental crossing. So this would normally be the part of the video where I would tell you how excited I was for the road to come, how excited I am for Guatemala. But the truth is, I am really struggling with motivation at the moment. And actually pretty much since I restarted a month ago in Oaxaca, I've been really struggling to find the joy in what I'm doing. It's kind of crazy because I'm in this really incredibly beautiful part of the world where people, come from all over the world to explore and to travel, and it's a very beautiful part of the world. It's very interesting, but I'm just finding myself kind of uninspired by all of this. I'm incredibly aware that I am super privileged to be out here and that, it's a dream to be able to travel through these places. I know how lucky I am to be here, but at the same time, I'm just not finding myself enjoying it that much. Honestly, this has never been a part of the world that I've been that excited for. Central America in general has just never really called me somehow. So part of me is actually quite tempted just to rush through Central America, just take direct routes, not muck around, get down to Panama quickly, and then get onto the kayak, which is the bit I'm really looking forward to. But that's not really how I want to travel, and I know that I'm so lucky to be here, and I know that there's so many incredible places in Central America, and I know that I want to enjoy it and I want to make the most of it. I'm just finding it difficult to do that. I don't know, we'll see how I go. I'm going to do my best to have fun. I think that Guatemala is probably going to be the most interesting country in the region. There's a lot of big mountains here, so I'm excited to explore the highlands. And let's see what the road provides. This is day 1 proper in Guatemala, and it's actually been a really cool day. I had a very steep climb, first induction to the famously steep Guatemalan climbs, and came out to this unbelievably beautiful viewpoint, which was absolutely spectacular. And then since then, it's just been a gorgeous, gorgeous ride. And I've ended up in this little village where I've been given permission to camp in this building behind me, and it is super quiet and remote out here. And I asked permission to camp and I was given it, and then of course the entire village turned up, which is always a funny experience. But yeah, really lovely people. I've been actually really pleasantly surprised. Today has been a lot of fun.
Y nuestro idioma es puro quechí.
Puro quechí.
Puro quechí.
¿La mayoría de la gente habla en español también o no? ¿O solo
No
pequeños?
mucho, no mucho.
No, okay.
Hay unos que no pueden el español
Uh-huh.
y la mayoría puro quechí.
After a really good night's sleep in the village, I spent the rest of the day working my way through the mountains. And honestly, I was having fun again. You can always tell when you're properly off the beaten path because the locals look at you with total shock. This was very far removed from the Gringo Trail. This was exactly the kind of travel I was looking for. The riding was still hard work, with lots of brutally steep climbs, but here it felt like it was worth it. And I was rewarded with some incredible views before a long descent back down into the valley, and then a beautiful section riding upriver into the bustling backpacker hub of Lanquin. So I've just had a really nice few days off at a really spectacular hostel. The weather's been a bit rough for the last few days, so it was a good excuse just to stop, wait for the weather to improve, get some work done, just relax. Definitely realized from talking to many backpackers that it is worth it. Traveling on a bike, as hard as it can be, you see so much more. You know, most people, not that there's anything wrong with this, but most people are just jumping from hotspot to hotspot, and so they don't really see much beyond that. It's a very limited slice of a country, so I'm not sure you really get to see what it's like if you're just staying at these tourist kind of backpacker spots. But anyway, I've got another week now to ride to reach the next major stop, which is going to be Quetzaltenango up in the highlands, and been climbing all morning. I'm going to be climbing all day and all week, but looking forward to getting a bit higher up. Super humid here, but I'm about to ascend from currently about 500 meters up to probably about 2,000. So it's going to be a lot easier in terms of the temperature. So I have made it to the town of Guatemalan, and I've had a pretty good day, I guess. 1,700 meters of climbing, so I'm now a lot higher up. It's a lot cooler. It's pretty miserable outside. It's been a pretty wet and miserable day, to be honest. And yeah, it's been pretty, but super densely populated. I'm staying in a hotel tonight because it's just nowhere to wild camp. It's been really pretty busy. It's just been non-stop, little villages, towns on the road. It's been super busy. And yeah, it's a little tedious. Like, you stop in these little towns and you just get hounded really quickly by drunk people just trying to get money out of you. And yeah, don't want to leave you alone. So it's been quite a tiring day. Yeah, the weather should be better tomorrow, I think. So I'm going to be up super early and try and make the most of it, make some more progress. And yeah, hopefully it's a drier day and I can see a little bit more of the views. So the good news is that it is much brighter today. We have blue skies and sunshine. So hopefully it's going to be a better day. God, it is tough out here to really enjoy it when the traffic is as high as it is. It's just a constant flow of big, super loud trucks, fast vehicles. They're not really the greatest drivers here so far in Guatemala. They're not giving you a huge amount of space. So it is a little bit tense on the roads. I'm looking forward to getting onto some quieter roads where hopefully there is less traffic, because since getting to Guatemala, it's just been a hell of a lot of traffic pretty much the entire time, even on the back roads. Over a lot of time, I've just come to realize that when it comes to bike packing, I just really don't enjoy traveling in places that have a really high population density and have a lot of traffic, a lot of constant sprawl of urban areas. I just don't really find it that fun. I really just massively prefer being in remote places on the bike. I just don't really find it all that enjoyable to just constantly be around traffic, buildings, houses, towns, shops. And that's pretty much been the experience in southern Mexico and now Guatemala as well, which probably explains to a pretty significant extent why I haven't been loving my time riding through so far. But that is just how it goes. If you're doing a big cross-continental trip, sometimes you just have to ride in places that you're not necessarily super excited for. That's just part of the challenge. I know in only a few more months, I'm going to be getting down into South America, and then it's going to get a lot more remote pretty quickly. So I am definitely not going to complain. I'm just going to have to get on with it. Location matters. It really matters. It's something I've learned. Like, if you're not really feeling the joy in what you're doing, sometimes the best thing is just to move, go somewhere else where you are enjoying it a little bit more. And so maybe that's what I need to do. I had a really great first few days, but it was quieter. And since then, it's just been kind of busy, and the sort of work to reward ratio isn't the best, because you're having to do so much climbing. Oh, we have a dog. Let's interrupt this to bring you this very cute dog. Hi, how's it going? At least the dogs are cute. That's a positive. It is what it is. I'm just not super inspired by the areas I'm riding through right now, and I've never really been a true cyclist in the sense of I've never really enjoyed cycling just for cycling's sake. For me, it's always been about the traveling, about the different places you're seeing and the things you're learning about, and Yeah, I mean, Guatemala is just very similar in a lot of ways. It feels very similar to Mexico. And I already spent a lot of time in Mexico. I spent like nearly 7 months of last year in Mexico. So I feel like I pretty well know what the vibe is. I feel very comfortable here. Just doesn't really feel like much of an adventure. It just feels like a commute a lot of the time. It feels like a commute. And yeah, that's not my favorite thing. I don't really want to feel like I'm commuting. I want to feel excited to go to the next place. And yeah, I just haven't been feeling that excited so far. So anyway, those are some thoughts, and I need to get back on my bike and keep pedaling because I still have a hell of a lot of climbing to do today. Okay, I'm all packed up. I am really struggling with motivation today. I'm just not feeling in the mood to cycle another 2,000 meters uphill. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Hopefully it's gonna turn out to be a good day. Just really struggling with motivation in general. My mindset is not good right now. I'm just feeling quite negative. I'm not in the right headspace right now. I'm really not. I'm feeling negative, which I hate, and I'm just not really that excited. I'm looking at the map and I'm just going like, I'm struggling a little bit. I need to fix my my mentality right now. I'm just going through a little bit of a blip, and that happens on a long trip. Sometimes you go through blips, and I think I feel weird sharing this too. The fact that I'm recording myself struggling is kind of weird, but I feel like it's probably a good thing to share that it isn't always glorious sunshine and rainbows. Most of the time it is, to be honest. Like I pretty rarely go through these. Most of the time I'm really just stoked to be doing what I'm doing. But right now I am struggling. But I'm going to try and turn it around. So I'm going to get on the road and hopefully it's a good day. Okay, so I think I have decided what I'm going to do. My mindset has been really negative. I've just had a lot of things to grumble about. And the reality is travel fatigue is a real thing. If you travel long enough, everywhere eventually starts to look the same. You get a little bit saturated. And I think after a while, you start to have a higher standard of what it takes to really excite you. And the reality is that this part of the world just doesn't really excite me that much. And so I've been feeling negative, and I don't like feeling like that. So I've been scratching my head, trying to think of how to resolve this, how to kind of cheer myself up and make the most of it properly. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on the positives. I'm going to really work hard to notice more things that are cool, notice more things that I find interesting, and let's not worry about the bad stuff. So instead of grumbling that it's super busy on the roads, even on the dirt roads, there's tons of really loud traffic, and that the trucks are probably the loudest trucks I found anywhere in the world. Instead of focusing on that, I'm going to focus on the fact that just a bunch of little kids just gave me a high five while I was cycling past them, and they were just super friendly and delighted to see me, and just, yeah, really nice. And the people are amazing out here as well, just in general. So rather than focusing on the fact that there is rubbish everywhere, I'm going to focus on the fact that like the tuk-tuks have lightning bolts on them instead of windscreen wipers. I mean, that's hilarious. And instead of focusing on the fact that, I don't know, the shops, all the little tiendas, they only really have junk food. It's mostly just crisps, biscuits. So I'm not really eating all that well here, and I kind of miss better food. Instead of focusing on that, I'm going to focus on the fact that instead of, I could be sitting in an office, and instead I get to eat biscuits all day long and you know, not worry about putting on any weight because, you know, no guilt when you're cycling up mountains all day. And instead of complaining that it's a hell of a lot of brutally steep climbing for not as much reward as I would like, I'm going to focus on the fact that my legs are strong enough to do that. I'm fit enough to cycle up 2,000 meters of elevation every day on a fully loaded bike on, you know, rough roads and not be completely shattered at the end of the day. So there's lots of really positive things, and I just need to focus on the positives. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and make the most of the time that I have in this part of the world, and eventually I'm going to get back to somewhere that I really want to be. And until then, this is where I'm at. So I need to flip my mindset a little bit. Let's look on the bright side. Let's look at the positives and try and enjoy it. Look, I'm not going to pretend that this little epiphany, deciding to focus on the positives, magically fixed everything. That would be nice, but it's never that simple, and I still wasn't exactly having the time of my life. But making a conscious decision to shift my focus did help. The mental battle is everything on an expedition like this. It's so much tougher than the physical component, and attitude is really the only tool you have for dealing with the difficult days. So it felt really good to stop drifting and finally be intentional about moving forward.
So I just made some new friends.
Solamente nada más en la noche.
Ah, okay.
Ajá, empieza a las 5 para las 9, 10 de la noche.
Ah, okay.
Se terminó.
¿Y también con música o?
Sí, invitado.
Muy bien.
Sí.
Probablemente esta noche voy a acampar arriba.
Ajá.
Entonces quizás puedo escuchar.
Ajá, también.
So there's something else to be happy about. All the people here are just super friendly. And I guess there's going to be a big party going on here. So it's been quite a lot of traffic on this little dirt road, but hopefully once I pass this village and get past the party, it is going to be a little bit quieter, and hopefully I can find somewhere good to camp tonight. So I just had a pretty disconcerting experience. 5 Guatemalan soldiers with shotguns just tried to shake me down, followed me up the hill. I guess they were acting as security for this big party going on in the village. And they chased me up the hill on motorbikes, stopped me, checked my passport, asked me a bunch of questions, and then tried to shake me down, basically for a bribe to let me pass. And they said that you have to pay this fee to pass through this area, which is definitely not true. They also told me that it's illegal to have tattoos here, which I'm also pretty sure is bullshit. But yeah, wasted a good 30 minutes talking to them, refusing to pay. It's always a test of patience when government officials or soldiers try and shake you down. Who's going to get tired first? But eventually they let me go without paying, so that's good. Anyway, that was quite uncomfortable. Never fun arguing with guys with shotguns. It's quite a poor area here. Spoken to quite a few people and they're all telling me how poor it is. Lots of people asking for money. Now the army trying to shake me down for money too, which is a bit of a shame. I'm gonna try not to let that put a damper on my day. But anyway, I only have a little bit further and then it's gonna be find somewhere to camp. I'm kind of keen to get off the road now. I don't want those guys following me. All right, well, I found a half decent place to camp. It's not, the most beautiful spot. I've got a big power line right next to me, but I think hopefully I'm at least out of sight, and I just wanted to get off the road. Not feeling the most secure here. All the people I've met have been incredibly friendly, but yeah, when you get accosted by the military and shaken down, it's not great. So yeah, I didn't feel totally secure right there, so I was pretty happy just to get off the road for the evening. But hey, this means I can wild camp, and not being able to wild camp was one of my complaints, so that is a good thing too. But hey, I was complaining that I was bored and that I wasn't finding myself very excited, and that was definitely excitement, so be careful what you wish for.
It took me another 2 days to make it through the mountains to Guatemala's second city of Quetzaltenango. The landscapes were opening up, becoming much more arid and dusty. The ride was much the same, nice but not spectacular, and I was still working hard at focusing on the positives. I think curiosity is the key. After more than a decade of travel, it's hard to stay curious. My baseline for what feels normal has shifted so drastically that things that would have blown my mind 10 years ago now barely register. You get so comfortable and efficient at the routine of travel, finding food, moving, setting up camp, that it stops feeling like an adventure and starts feeling like a job. It becomes so easy just to autopilot through the days, and I was having to work really hard just to actually appreciate where I was. I made it up to Quetzaltenango at around 2,300 meters, and after rejoining the chaos of the city, I took a few days to decompress and get organized. So many steep descents had wiped out my brake pads, so I tracked down a local bike shop for a service, and I also spent a blissful few hours in some nearby hot springs, giving my legs a well-deserved soak. I didn't rest for long though. as there was at least one thing about Guatemala which definitely did get me excited. They define the landscape in this part of the country, and I knew I wasn't leaving until I'd stood on top of at least one of them.
Well, good morning. It is 4 a.m. and I'm currently halfway up Volcano. All right, I've made it up to the summit of Santa Maria in time for the sunrise. It's actually a really nice climb. And amazingly, I don't know if you can see it there, but I think that is Volcan Fuego that is actually erupting up there in the distance. Just see the plume of smoke coming off the top there, which is pretty incredible. Freezing cold, definitely below freezing up here, so I can't really feel my hands right now, but I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. Yeah, what a place, what a place.
I definitely don't have it all figured out yet. I'm still tired and I'm still wrestling with that feeling of burnout, but I couldn't stand up there and not feel grateful. Moments like that are what keeps me going. They're a reminder that even when the journey gets heavy, the world is still incredibly beautiful, and I do still have the drive to explore it. I don't know how the next few months are going to play out, but for now, I guess I'll keep climbing volcanoes. I'll try to stay curious and keep chasing moments like these.